Well. You're listening to Gloves Off with Professor Buitrón. Alright then, I may say words on point, straightforward. No jibber jabber, everybody forward. Issues, facts and solution. Get it at Gloves Off with Professor Buitrón. Alright, what other thing is a revolution? Get it on point with Professor Buitrón. Gloves Off, no nonsense issues, politics, community. A better men follow reader. Gloves Off, a revolutionary show with everything that you need to know. With Professor Buitrón. Watch ya!
We're back at you. Gloves Off, Professor Buitrón. I'm here with Grandmaster Davis, and we're talking about escrima, and we're talking about his new book. How are we doing, Grandmaster? You doing?
I'm doing very well today, sir, and it's a pleasure to be with you on the Buitron channel. Also, I want to wish you a happy belated birthday, my brother.
Thank you. We're having some technical difficulties, folks, but we'll get through this. Grandmaster David is one of the late Grandmaster Angel Cabalas students, and he's been a proponent and expand. Grandmaster, talk to us a bit about serrada.
Well, first of all, the word serrada actually comes from the Portuguese language, which means to close, very close. And it's just a term that's giving or given to the Pacific style of the late great Grandmaster Angel Cabalas. So serrada escrima means close encounter. Escrima, skirmish. So close skirmish, close encounter.
Right. You know, I was very fortunate to meeting all the majority of first generation, including his son, Grandmaster Vincent Cabalas. And everybody seems to be such great energy, great technicians, and something to see. People have not experienced that. People need to go and search for one of the first generations of the Grandmaster. I'm going to tell you why. Because you're going to see such a fiery individual that's going to be teaching in front of you with a great technique and ability that you're going to understand what the system is. Let me tell you this. You just wrote a new book, correct? And I read it as well, and it's a great book. And folks should look at the book and try to get, but explain a little bit why you wrote it and how did you come up to the idea of saying, you know what, I need to put this down?
Sure, yes. The title of the book is called Escrima Simplified, a fundamental guide for self-defense. And it is based upon my over 35 years of training in the arts of combat. And specifically, the Cabalas serrada system of escrima is an integration of many of the multi-other diverse arts I have trained in. So what I've been able to do is extract the essential nucleus of each and every one of these systems, as well as the Cabalas serrada system of escrima, and to put it in a more interpretable, more integrated, and in a more direct and effective form, so that it doesn't take you a year, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years to be able to pick up on the essential essence of this art.
Understood. It's a very well book. I enjoy it. And people need to understand that when you train with serrada, there's a lot of new techniques you need to understand good form. And what would you tell a person that comes to you right off the street and says, you know what, I'm looking to train in a martial art. What is different between you and the person down the street?
Yes. Well, you know, within the arena of martial arts, of course, people pretty much know what they're looking for already. And for instance, you have if I understand it correctly, capoeira background. And so, my job has always been to how do you present another exclusive exotic art to another exclusive exotic art, and where are the integrating factors? And so I've always been one to try to get behind what makes an art tick, and that is always the essential way of being able to understand how to transfer that art over to other people who may not be able to understand it from one interpreter. So it's all about interpretation, how you present your material, what audience are you presenting it to? We were in Spain, Germany, for instance. I might have to somewhat tailor make according to the environment and the culture of the people that I'm tendering to at the time. And that is what happened when I took the art of Cabalas, serrada, escrima to European shores. I had to be able to understand their language to a great degree, culture, traditions, and also how they're applying their methods of martial arts as well. And so integration is essential. You need to be able to understand the nucleus behind the different arts that you're teaching. So the book explains my genealogy and my journey and how I was able to combine those arts together.
Let me ask a question. You're one proponent started or that expanded this into Europe. How did Europeans take to
Yes, I guess the way that I started was like at age 15, but even from that journey onward, ultimately meeting people of monumental stature, such as great grand Professor Angel Cabalas, Tony Ramos. He was the lineage from Hawaii, which brought in the Chinese Kempo along with other Kempo systems. So, coming from that background and being strongly influenced in those arts, I already had a strong foundation point. So by the time 1984, when I finally come in contact with the late great Grandmaster Angel Cabalas, we were pretty much on the same note. And he was also expanding his art as well. Even for, past generations will tell you that the great Grandmaster was constantly in his laboratory, expanding his art, checking out other arts, and also doing comparative studies with other arts. And that's why he liked so many different other stylists to come to train from him.
Correct. I hear so much about energy that Grandmaster Cabalas had. I hear so much about how to open his arms to other individuals, any of the arts, really. You come from a generation that it does not do the same things now in martial arts school. There was a lot of taboo stuff from switching instructor to instructor, or even style to style. Many people got kicked out of schools, and you know the way it is. And some schools, even now, you tell them what, cross-trained with this, no longer my student, that kind of attitude. But I see when you said you kind of got your camp, got your has a mentality, cross-trained everything, man, and learn from them and train it and incorporate. And that's how a father should be, Grandmaster did that. And I sat with the serrada first generations. They all know a system, but they're not afraid to dwell in another system, find out how it works. Understand? And I see that, and I see a lot of cross training, which is very, very beautiful. How would you explain?
Well, see, that's the thing too, is that I think each and every individual that you're probably referring to that has trained directly or indirectly under Angel Cabalas all had different agendas as to why they trained from the Grandmaster. And my particular agenda was based upon really trying to psychologically understand exactly how this old Manon was applying his art in past times and how was he applying his art in the present time. And so we had a great infusion of ideas of how to expand his art in fertile grounds. And so, according to Angel, he always gave great credit to his teacher, great grandmaster for the system of Buitron. And anytime you would give him kudos or, basically give him that special attention of acknowledgement that, wow, Angel, your stuff is so fast or you're so precise. What I really, admired about Angel Cabalas was the fact that even still, as good as he was, and as good as the current martial artists were and are at the time, he still gave kudos and great acknowledgement to his teacher. He was always, well, if you think I'm fast and I'm precise, you should see my teacher, Felicissimo Buitron. So, I think that's a great thing because he was preserving ancient tradition by doing that. Respecting the elders, respecting your genealogy. And essentially that's what my book is all about. It's connecting the dots from my perspective and what I personally experienced directly with the great Grandmaster Angel Cabalas, but also along with all the other illustrious great grandmasters that are also mentioned in the book.
Absolutely. That's the way you be. You have to connect dots. You have to understand. You have to have you be under an instructor that not only understands the technique, but understands why it was made. Where did it come from? And we're kind of in the age that people are getting it. They just do techniques and make stuff and has nothing to do with the actual system. And you set everywhere and you put it together and you say, well, that's your own gist. Fine, but that's not what it's meant to be. And when you change things or deviate from it, sometimes it's for the good, but most of it's for the bad. And a lot of people get in trouble that way, And it's to see because style, just like boxing, has a jab, has a cross, has an uppercut, has hooks, has overrights, and each one does it differently. And that's what I said about that. I see each one of our generations, they all have the strikes. They all know exactly what to do, but each one of them does differently with different feet and energy. And that's the beauty of it because it's style.
Yes, no, I totally agree. And coming from an environment of boxers, where I come from, originally in Northern California, I was able to meet some real, aficionados in the field of boxing, such as Tony the Tiger Lopez, Jesse Lopez Sr. Was one of my first boxing coaches at age 16, 17. And so, I was very good at being able to manipulate my legs, elbows. I had a strong foundation in kumite, street fighting, different ways of testing your combat. And the thing is that boxing, as you say, you have these essential techniques: the left jab, the right cross, the left hook, the uppercut, and how you mix these things up is based upon your own tenure. And Angel Cabalas understood that as well because he was also a great fan of boxing in the Philippines. Matter of fact, he said he wanted to be a boxer, but he said he just knew after the first, few matches, he wasn't going to be any good at boxing, but he still had a strong admiration and critique of boxing. And little do people realize is that Angel Cabalas had incorporated some boxing tactics and maneuvers into his Cabalas serrada system of escrima as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. What would you tell the new students coming into serrada what they look for?
I think anybody, whether they are a beginner in the field of martial arts or whether they're an advanced aficionado, look for those key things. Don't look for the big things. Like Great Grandmaster Angel Cabalas told me in my first lessons. He said, you know, you have a great understanding of Kali, escrima, the weapons, other styles. He said, but my job is not to teach you anything too much more than you already know. He said, my job is to teach you the little things about escrima and Kali in actual stick matches that I have learned. So I'm only going to teach you the things that are essential to what you already know. So my job is not to expand your knowledge, but to decrease it and to teach you the little things that you may not be aware of. That's what kept me there for 7 years.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And they're great words. It's a great philosophy to teach. And that's a great tool for the pedagogy of the system. And you should be that way.
Thank you. Yes.
People come in with different ways, but they're all getting experience in there because they have to get the feel of it. So when students come into place, no matter if it's a bad camp or what have you, from and they already know something else, you have to make them realize that here's a new beginning, here's some new stuff. We're not saying learn this better, we're just saying understand. And once the student can understand that, then they can progress and further. And that's what you want.
Yes, I totally agree. And Angel was in concert with that way of thinking. You know, some folks think that, you know, Angel was to the degree that, you know, you couldn't go outside of the Cabalas serrada system of escrima, and that's just not true. He respected me from the jump. He knew that I was an accomplished martial artist in my own right, that I had my own academy based upon FMA, Filipino martial arts, and that I sought him out specifically, not, you know, anonymously, but specifically because I wanted to add to all the empty hand stuff that I had already accomplished in terms of combat. But, you know, I had great experience in the Chinese arts, of course, using those methods of weapons. But, you know, let's really be realistic. You know, who's going to walk down the street with a 13-foot long sword or a, you know, a staff that is just, you know, catches attention no matter what, especially if you're in the field of law enforcement. You know, you're taught to look at these little things. And so to me, you know, these arts are beautiful in terms of aesthetics, in terms of art, but in terms of practicality on the street, that's always been my primary concern, not only for myself, but for my family, as well as my students as well. And that's why I went directly to Great Grandmaster Angel Cabalas himself, because he was a polished warrior in terms of having actually been in actual combat with the blades as well as the sticks. And so that's why people like Danny Santos sought him out, Great Grandmaster Richard S. Pastillo, Ted Lukai, Maha, great Ted Lukai, the great Ted Lukai. Many people sought him out. My job, once I started training from Great Grandmaster Angel Cabalas as well, was to basically promote his art and to expand his art. When I met him in '84, he was kind of at a juncture point. He felt that, you know, he wasn't getting his message out there as effectively as possible. So we integrated my wanting to learn personally from him, because he did recommend learn from some of the other students. But I would always say, no, Angel, I want to learn directly from you. You know, that way I have that direct inference from you directly, you know, because I'm a teacher myself and I have an obligation to teach my students as much quality of what I'm learning as well. So yeah, I demanded to learn directly from Angel. So that was one reason why, though, was to basically get the direct inference of what it is that he had to teach. And now I can understand why people like Danny Santos, Ted Lukai, all the great luminaries went to Angel for their training, he was the man.
I understand. I understand. And you're not the only person that's way too people that. And that is reality. Sometimes each pass on. Yesterday, we had other luminary, escrima Grandmaster Sam Wood, the walks the family. Our condolences go out to the family and to everybody in the family, because those are our elders in play. Even the different styles are out there, still meant one way or another. They affect us and how we, and that's the reality. And we have to show respect to each one. Grandmaster, we're running out of time. What would you like to send a message to somebody, and how can they come in contact you and how to purchase book?
Yes, purchase by way of contacting me directly. UncleJohn.Long at gmail.com. We'll continue to further more information at a later date, but I'm on Facebook as well. Just look up John Wong, and we're under the United World Serrada Escrima Federation. And it has all that information on there. Also, they can contact me directly at area code 216-570-6923. I'm available for further questions and so forth. And other than that, I teach online as well, and we can connect all those dots for a future date for anyone that's interested.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'll just tell you they're running out of time, and wish everybody good. Until next time.
Yes. Yes, until next time, long live.
For 30 years, Buitron Academy has produced great fighters, peace officers, firemen, and many great citizens of Laredo. We teach various martial arts, savate, kempo, capoeira, each in their own traditions, trajectory, history, and pedagogy. Buitron Academy is the first school of savate in the United States, the first capoeira movement in Texas, the first kempo school in Laredo. What will one expect to see at Buitron Academy? Respect, fellowship, coordination, skill, and self-defense. Buitron Academy is located at 220 West Hillside Road.
The following political paid advertisements do not reflect the political opinions of the program or its associates. Any political campaign or candidate who wishes to purchase advertising can do so. Advertising is open to all on behalf of Gloves Off.
Hello, how are you? My name is Celestino Marina. I'm running for City Council, District 5, and I would like your support. Together, we will win. Thank you.
Laredo College needs a leader, an educator with a vision to move forward for a positive change. This is why, as your candidate, I want accessible education, and most importantly, I want to listen to your concerns as a stakeholder, students, faculty, staff, and taxpayers. It's time for education over politics.
Vote Justin Huntsnusher Casiano for Laredo College Board, place 7.
Hi Laredo, this is Carlos Perez. I'm running for Laredo College Board of Trustees Place 8. You can follow us on social media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at CG Perez for LC. I look forward to gaining your support this campaign season and earning your vote November 3rd. Thank you.